Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a young girl named Masnache. She was very beautiful, and everyone in the village admired her beauty. One day, the prince of a nearby village saw Masnache and was instantly attracted to her. His name was Prince Udemezwe, and he was a man of great wealth and power. Prince Udemezwe started visiting Umasnachi's family often. He came with guards who carried fine gifts for her and her parents. He brought fresh meat, sweet palm wine, and beautiful clothes made from the finest fabrics. These were rare things in the village, and they made Umasnachi's parents feel special and lucky. They were happy to accept the prince's gifts and welcomed him warmly into their home. Prince Udemezwe was known for his kindness in giving gifts, but there was another side of him. He was proud and thought highly of himself. He liked people to respect him and often looked down on those who had less than him. He believed that because he was wealthy, people should be grateful to him. He never gave gifts freely. He always expected something in return. He liked to have people around him who praised him and made him feel important. His guards would announce his arrival loudly wherever he went, making sure everyone noticed him. People in the village respected him out of fear and admiration for his riches. Masnachi's parents were pleased with Prince Udemezwe's attention. They liked that he was very rich and generous, and they felt proud to be visited by someone so powerful. The gifts he brought made their simple lives feel special, and they dreamed of how much better their lives could become if Umasnachi married the prince. Prince Udemezwe had already told them he wanted to marry Umasnachi when she was old enough. Her parents were happy, seeing it as a way for their family to rise in status and enjoy a life of comfort. Umasnachi had a close friend named Nnamdi, whom she had known all her life. To Umasnachi, Nnamdi was like a brother. He came from a poor family and made a living by working on other people's farms. The day after Prince Udemezwe's visit to her home, Umasnachi decided to share some of her gifts with Nnamdi. She took some of the beautiful wrappers the prince had gifted her and walked over to Nnamdi's small hut. When she arrived, Nnamdi was delighted to see her and was even more excited when he saw the bright, colorful fabrics she had brought. But as soon as Umasnachi mentioned that the wrappers were gifts from Prince Udemezwe, he looked away, the excitement in his eyes fading, and quietly told her he could not accept the fabrics. Umasnachi was surprised by Nnamdi's reaction. She could not understand why he would turn down such a generous gift, especially when he had so little. But Nnamdi was firm. He explained simply that he did not like Prince Udemezwe and felt uncomfortable accepting anything that came from him. Umasnachi felt hurt by Nnamdi's refusal. She had brought the fabrics out of love and friendship, hoping to share her good fortune with him. His rejection felt like a slap to her kindness. Without a word, she turned and ran away. Her heart was heavy and her eyes watery with tears. Behind her, Nnamdi called out, hoping she would stop, but she didn't. Nnamdi felt sad. He didn't mean to hurt her and hated seeing her sad. One day, Prince Udemezwe sent one of his messengers to Umasnachi, asking her to come to his hut and cook for him. Umasnachi was pleased and felt honored by the invitation. She quickly agreed, feeling happy that the prince had chosen her to prepare his meal. When she got there, she put her best into preparing a special pepper soup. When she was done, she served the prince with great respect, eager to please him. At first, Prince Udemezwe seemed delighted by the sight and sweet smell of the pepper soup. But when he tasted the soup, his face twisted in anger and he immediately spat it out. This sudden reaction shocked Umasnachi, who stood there in silence, confused and worried. She asked him what the matter was, but instead of explaining calmly, Prince Udemezwe harshly told her to be quiet, calling her a disgrace and insulting her for making a soup that was too salty. His words were loud as he kept calling her harsh names and embarrassing her in front of his servants. Umasnachi felt deeply hurt by his reaction. She had cooked pepper soup before for her parents and for her friend Nnamdi. And while it might have been a little salty at times, they had always accepted it without anger or insult. Her family and Nnamdi had never yelled at her or called her names. Standing there, feeling humiliated and angry, she tried to ask the prince to lower his voice so others would not hear him shouting. But instead, Prince Udemezwe told her to be quiet once again, showing no respect for her feelings. Then, Umasnachi decided she could not take it anymore. She felt humiliated and angry that he would treat her this way over a simple meal. Gathering her courage, she turned away from him and started walking back to her father's hut. Seeing her leave made Prince Udemezwe furious. He felt insulted that she would dare walk away from him while he was still speaking. He quickly called for his guards and ordered them to bring her back. The guards ran after Umasnachi, grabbing her and dragging her back to the prince's hut against her will. Then, following the prince's orders, they tied her to a tree. Then the prince took a whip and beat her, showing her no mercy. This left Umasnachi bruised, humiliated, and heartbroken. The next day, very early in the morning, Umasnachi's father marched to Prince Udemezwe's hut. He was deeply angry by what had happened to his daughter and felt that his trust had been betrayed. He stood firmly before Udemezwe, warning him to stay away from Umasnachi and never come near her again. Prince Udemezwe, however, felt no remorse for his actions. He told Umasnachi's father that if he truly wished for him to stay away from Umasnachi, then every single gift he had received would need to be returned to him. Otherwise, he believed Umasnachi was his by right, and he would do as he wished with her. He ordered Umasnachi's father to leave his hut and declared that within 4 days, he expected to have either all his gifts back or Umasnachi as his bride. He threatened that if neither of these happened, he would come himself and take her by force, believing he had every right to claim her as his own. The next day, news of Prince Udemezwe's threat reached Nnamdi, and his heart sank with worry for Umasnachi. He knew her father was poor, and there was no way he could return the prince's lavish gifts within 4 days. Nnamdi also knew that Prince Udemezue was a man of pride and cruelty, and his threats were not mere words. If he promised to come for Umasinachi, he would carry out his promise no matter who stood his way. As Nnamdi walked on the farm that day, his mind was far from the task at hand. His hands moved, but his thoughts were elsewhere. The farm owner, Mazi Okoro, noticed Nnamdi's distraction. Mazi Okoro was a kind and wise elder, known for his generosity. He had helped Nnamdi many times before. He approached Nnamdi, asking gently if something was wrong. At first, Nnamdi tried to dismiss his worry, apologizing for not working well and saying he was just tired. But Mazi Okoro pressed him gently, encouraging him to share whatever was on his mind. Nnamdi hesitated, but then considered that perhaps he could confide in him. Mazi Okoro's patience and understanding had always been a comfort, and maybe he would find some guidance in sharing his burden with someone who had shown him kindness. Nnamdi told Mazi Okoro all about Prince Udemezue's threat and the trouble it was causing for Masinachi's family. Mazi Okoro listened with patience and concern, understanding how serious the situation was. After hearing everything, Mazi Okoro told Nnamdi to come to his hut later in the day. Later that day, Nnamdi went to Mazi Okoro's hut. Without hesitation, Mazi Okoro gave him a large amount of cowries, more than enough to replace all the gifts Prince Udemezue had given Umasinachi's family. Mazi Okoro told Nnamdi that he was giving this as an act of kindness, like a father helping his son, and Nnamdi would not need to repay him. Filled with so much gratitude, Nnamdi felt his heart swell with emotion, and he thanked Mazi Okoro deeply and said he would never forget that day. The next day, Masinachi's father and Nnamdi went to the market. They carefully used the cowries to buy everything Prince Udemezue had gifted them. After gathering all the items, they went together to Prince Udemezue's hut and laid everything before him. Before leaving, Umasinachi's father gave him a strong warning, telling him to stay away from his daughter and never come near their home again. Prince Udemezue was shocked. He had not expected this outcome and was caught off guard. He had spent a fortune on those gifts, feeling certain that a poor family like Umasinachi's could never return them. In his mind, only a person of great wealth and status could afford to replace his gifts so quickly. Seeing all the items returned was like a blow to his pride. He realized that someone of great wealth and kindness must be helping Umasinachi's family. Someone perhaps wealthier and more powerful than himself. Thinking about this, Prince Udemezue decided it was best to stay away from Umasinachi and her family. He no longer wanted to cause trouble, afraid of the unknown power supporting them.